Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. So we'll get started. This is July 30th, 2024, the Kentucky Assembly General Assembly meeting. Welcome, everybody. Give me just a second. I'll bring the agenda up. I apologize. The agenda was not sent out with the meeting link. So what I don't do this. I'll share it in the chat real quick. That way everybody has a copy of it. You can pull it up if you're on your computer and kind of follow along on your end, and then I'll bring it up and screen share it from my end. All right, so that should be in the chat. Back up.
Thank you, Justin.
No problem. There we go. Hoo-wee. Let's get mad. That was a hassle. Sorry about that. All right, so here's the agenda. Again, like I said, today is July 30th, 2024. And the link to the past June's General Assembly meeting, you can find it here at our website. If you go to our website and you click on the Four Pillars tab, there'll be a drop down menu of the four pillars: General Assembly, International Business Assembly, Assembly, State Militia, I beg your pardon, State Assembly Militia, and then, of course, the General Assembly pillar. You go to those, and then I'm asking for each pillar as they grow to get with me, or as we grow in the IT department. Get with us so we can populate those tabs with those pillars, specific mission statements, anything you would like to see on those tabs that represents your pillars that you're working on. That's where I would like to populate these. But you can see a playlist at the end of each tab there, and that playlist contains the up-to-date recordings. So you can go back and catch up with your General Assembly pillar, your militia pillar. We don't do as much right now in international business, but and then our General Assembly recordings, you can go back and get caught up with those there. So that's, as it was discussed before the recording started, part of a self-governing. If you want to keep in the know, you got to make the attempt to use what little resources we have at the time as a budding assembly to try and keep in the know. So with that being said, you can go to the Kentucky Assembly website and catch up with all our pillar meetings that we've had, and also our orientation classes. We're at part 4. We're going to be doing part 5, and we'll discuss that as we go on. So I am Justin Jones. I'm the Kentucky Marshal at Arms. And this meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Additionally, are there any United States citizens or citizens of the United States present? And as I scan the chat, it looks like, okay, everybody here is pretty much status corrected, so no worries on the U.S. citizens end so far. Anyone who is here under false pretenses, Anyone who is working for any foreign government, including the territory of the United States or municipal United States, anyone who's being paid or coerced to be here must fully disclose their presence and purpose now or leave the premises, i.e. this call. If they subsequently show up as a federal witness, they are discredited for failure to disclose. And being as this is the purpose not for liability, but or not for contracting but for liability purposes, is there a response to the Bivens decision at this time? And the reason I say that, this is being read right now for liability purposes only. It's not for any contracting purposes for you being in here. We welcome everybody to our General Assembly calls. We're open to the general public, that being status corrected Americans and United States citizens, federal citizens that are interested in what we're doing. We welcome them. Anybody would like to read the mission statement?
I'll read it.
Thank you.
What is the purpose of the assembly? Mission statement. Our Kentucky Assembly is dedicated to the restoration of a complete and fully operational land and soil jurisdiction, state and county court system, serving the people of Kentucky. The preservation of the national trust, the enforcement of the public law, the upholding of the federal constitution owed to our state and people, the repopulation of our land and soil jurisdiction, the filling of vacated public offices, and the reclamation of our material and intellectual public and private assets. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of this meeting? The purpose of this meeting is to report on committee activities, discuss and approve issues of the Kentucky Assembly and the Kentucky State de jure government, discuss committee reports and motions. Any additions to the agenda?
Okay. Let me see. Is Belinda on the call? I got a question.
I don't see her.
Yeah, I think I just saw her. Belinda. Yeah, she's here.
I'm here.
Yeah. Hey, this part of the agenda, the best of my knowledge, is just a rundown of our positions, right?
Yes. Yeah. The actual agenda starts below that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So that being said, we'll just kind of briefly skim through here. I know this kind of looks weird in the coordinator's report. Chairman unfilled. General Education Committee's unfilled at this time. So we do need volunteers to populate committees, to give that a space and give opportunity for people to take chairman positions and secretary or recorder and treasurer positions of our committees. Because remember, we are a government. We're trying to do three things. The first thing is priority is this is a rescue mission. Okay, we're trying to help our fellow men and women that when they realize the same information that we've realized, we're trying to help them back to the land and soil so they can get to a point of being able to self-govern. Because just like I said, I mentioned before the recording, it's about self-governing first and foremost. The status correction, the paperwork just gives you your standing and opportunity to be able to self-govern and peacefully argue your point. It's not always needed because, well, it is at this time. We're always trespassed on, it seems like. But not to go off the rails too much, we need committee support. We've got our pillars pretty much. We need committee support. Mac. Yeah, Mac, if you don't mind, your name's not really recognizable. And as you can see, everybody else on the chat list has their name, at least their first and last name and what county they're on. So if you could help us out, and Mac, as you're showing up, can you just either unmute and identify yourself so we can get your name changed in the chat? I can do it on my end.
He identified as John McClure.
John McClure. Okay, well, welcome, John McClure. Do you have a county? I apologize if I don't spell your
It
name
looks
right.
like it's Bullet.
John McClure. I'll just put John on bullet. Appreciate that. Okay. Skimming through. I guess one announcement right off the bat would be that General Assembly meetings are at 5:30. They've been changed as the last week or the last meeting. They all agreed to change it to 5:30. Getting down to it. New business. Is this where I'm at, Belinda? New business? I'm sorry, it's just the new agenda's got me. Okay, let's just start right here at new business. So coordinator report. So for those of you that might be aware, for those of you who are not aware, last week I started the process, a notice to Duran as state coordinator, letting him know through an email that was attached not only to him, but to everybody that is holding well, it was to the militia pillar, the General Assembly coordinator, everybody that's been vetted to this point was on the email with Duran, pretty much stating that he was in conflict of interest with some of the things he was doing as a state national. Okay, and so um, he was pretty in conflict of interest with the Moorish community. With him not being here, it's kind of walking on thin ice. I don't want to overstep my bounds without him being here, but pretty much he was noticed that he had the opportunity to set up a meeting um, in-house with other vetted members of the Kentucky Assembly, not necessarily me, and that request was never fulfilled on his end. So with the time lapse gone by, with him not setting up that meeting, he's been removed as state coordinator. He's free to participate on the assembly just like any other state national that happens to be involved with any other type of government or religious community. They just can't serve. It's a conflict of interest. Okay, so this is not me personally attacking Duran. This is not anybody personally attacking Duran. The reason I handle it the way I did is because I feel like, and I can be course corrected on this, I feel like uh, he needed every opportunity and right to um, be asked, his side of the story, um, but not by all the people on the General Assembly. I just didn't feel that that was appropriate, so I tried to handle it in house to where it wouldn't affect the General Assembly as a whole. We could keep rolling. If that makes much more sense when we're more committee based, populated with committees. But it just until he makes it known or anybody, that's a conflict of interest. Joe, your hands up.
Right. Yeah. It's expected that the state coordinator, federation sponsored coordinator needs to be present. Uh, as far as agenda driven, agenda creating, generating, if they're not present, then yeah, it's cause for, as far as questioning attendance of that role. So, I mean, I don't know the details behind that. That's just my observation. I yield.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I called Laura. I apologize. I was muted. Your hand.
You're good. I would just like to set up a meeting, or maybe we can discuss it now for standard procedures for dismissal. Like, I think the big part was the email getting yanked, and maybe if we could just not do that right away and give them like a notice, 3 days later, another notice, 6 days, another, and then maybe after 9 days, yank the email. I kind of felt for Duran on that because on my emails, I have a lot of information. So I don't know, can we come up with some kind of procedure to do that? Or is that like an ombudsman role? Just to discuss general procedures that we can all be in agreement on, so it doesn't separate our assembly when something like this comes up.
Belinda, your hand's raised.
Laura, there was a lot of things that transpired, and I definitely don't want to take up our General Assembly meeting with discussing this. I think if we want to set an offline meeting that is outside of the General Assembly meeting, I think we can discuss, but there was a lot of things that transpired before that email was sent. And I think that that's what people needs to understand. There was emails that were going out for 2 weeks prior to that email that wasn't responded to. So all of the facts that you all were getting on that text message, that's why I removed myself from the text group, because he was never going to state the facts. And I think that that's why it's easy to get on a text group and say a lot of things that, you know, just like he was saying that Justin was doing to him by sending him that email. He was doing the exact same thing to Justin via that text group. Now, I haven't gone over all those text messages and stuff with Justin, and I don't think that it's fair that all of that transpired. That's again why I removed myself and deleted the group, because I don't want to be a part of that. The facts need to come out in a proper and professional manner, and the only way that that can be done is if both parties agree that there is something worth fighting for. But the facts of the case were multiple. So, the decision was made because there was no response. And with the things that was transpiring, I agree that it was an issue that it could put the assembly at risk. And that was something, it wasn't a disagreement or somebody getting their feelings hurt. And again, these details can be discussed. If everybody truly wants to have an offside meeting, that's fine. But the things that were transpiring via his email, via the lack of participation and a lot of different things, there's other facts that need to be weighed in that. So with that, I mean, I yield. I don't agree 100% that our process is foolproof, but I do know that, you know, we definitely need to work together to come up with a better solution. But at the time that this transpired, it was the best possible outcome at that moment. And with him not even responding to that email other than attacking, because that's what he did to me on the phone call. I mean, he called me racist. He called me coming after him for all these things. And when I asked him questions to try to get to the facts to see if, you know, if something was different, he just called me names and yelled at me and told me that he didn't want to talk to me anymore. So, I mean, to me, I think the decision that Justin made was one that was the best that we could do at the time, with giving him the opportunity to defend himself if he chose to do so. So, and it's not a dictatorship. We do try to work with people, and sometimes people decide not to work back, but to try to, you know, cause division. And that's what we're trying to prevent. And again, that's why we're having this conversation. If you want to
So-
do, I guess you got
so-
to, with that, I yield.
Thank you, Belinda. So he was removed for conflict of interest. Okay, so if you want to quote Anna, well, first of all, Jen, the floor is yours if you'd like to speak your mind. And same thing you're doing in the chat.
Sure, I'd be happy to speak. I sat down and listened to 2 hours of Anna speak today, and she made it very clear that the assembly makes the decisions, the people make the decisions. And as far as I've been involved with the assembly, that's not what I see happening. And that's why I stepped down. I stepped down for cheap shots and emails that were taken at me. And you know exactly who you are. So I'm standing here letting you all know that this assembly will not thrive and not function the way leadership is trying to run this as a business. It's not running efficiently. And you need to take into consideration everybody on the assembly. The people are the assembly, not the leadership. That came from Anna.
I
yield.
agree 100% with you. I agree 100% with you. I'm sure others on the call do too. The people are in charge 100%. But it's not lawless
I?
anarchy. Yes,
But
absolutely.
but however, Duran's position was taken from him without everybody else being involved. That's where I have conflict again. Even with my position, my email was yanked from me before I had an opportunity to let everybody publicly know I
You
had
resigned. You
I
resigned.
hadn't told
Yeah.
everybody that, Justin. Somebody was reading my emails. And as soon as I let Belinda know that I was stepping down out of self-respect, my credentials were yanked from me before I had an opportunity to say it publicly to everyone. And that is not okay.
You sent out an email to all vetted individuals that were holding emails that you resigning your position. Did you not?
I did, but as Laura mentioned,
Okay,
we don't have a proper policy of dismissal.
you
I
just
wasn't given an
contradicted
May I
yourself.
speak?
Yes, absolutely.
I was not given an opportunity to resign amongst the people. I wasn't given an opportunity to decide to discuss with everybody else. Was I giving a 2-week notice? Was it immediate? I was muzzled, Justin. I had an issue I wanted to bring to the entire assembly, and nobody gave me a voice, and therefore I stepped down. I've been quiet long enough. I was professional as I could be. And now that I'm seeing this happen to another assembly member, and I've seen it happen to others too, I vote, yes, something needs to change. Policies need to change. You can't be the only one that has the power to take away people's positions, their emails, and everything else. It's
I
not
say
right.
again, you resigned. I say again, you resigned. Laura, your hands up.
I just think, if you don't mind, that maybe this does need another meeting time other than, like Belinda said, taking up all our time on the General Assembly. So if we could maybe schedule that, I think it would let us get back to the agenda, because we're going to have a long enough meeting with it only being once a month now. Anyway, last month it was like 3 hours. So I do think this stuff needs to be discussed just at a different time when we don't already have an agenda, and I yield.
Belinda.
I'm sorry. That was not supposed to be there.
Okay, so we obviously need a committee for this. This is not the first time this was happened. This has happened before. So is anybody like to bring a move to the floor that we make a move to create an oversight committee?
May I? This is Belinda Bullet.
Yes.
I would like make a motion to produce an oversight committee to review
Second.
that.
Okay, we
Joanne.
have a move. All right, we have a move to, thank you, Joe. I hear your second. We have a move to the floor to schedule an oversight committee meeting. Do we want to do that next Tuesday?
Works for me.
Or is this a little bit more pressing on other people's minds? I'm just throwing that out there. I just want to make it known that this is an issue for me too as well. This wasn't done lightly. So next Tuesday. So proper procedure is when a move's brought to the floor, it's open for questions and concerns and discussions. Is there any of those at this time?
May I? It's Belinda.
Yes.
I would be fine with next Tuesday.
Okay. So we have a move brought to the floor that we schedule an oversight committee meeting the first on next Tuesday. It's been seconded by Joe Hayes on Spencer County. At this time, we'll take a poll of the General Assembly because that's how we operate, as a poll. And we'll do it the best way we can by virtual and recording. And so at this time, with the move brought to the floor that we create an oversight committee and the first meeting be Tuesday, I'm trying to bring up my be Tuesday, August 6th. All right. Any abstains? Again, Tuesday, August 6th, first oversight committee to discuss proper procedure on how to relieve command when there's issues. Any no's, any nays? At this time, if you would please just do your raised hand emoji icon. Three, four. I'm counting them. 7 out of 15. Again, if you're not status corrected, then you cannot participate in this poll. Apologize, but we need to get you status corrected. So we have 8 raised hand emojis. We have 1 thumbs up and we have 1 clap. That's 8 out of 15. That's more than 2/3, correct?
I'm all for it there, Justin. Sean on Pulaski.
Okay. All right. Well, the move has passed. I guess I'll get that scheduled for Tuesday. I look forward to it. Let's see. Is there any raised hand emojis? I beg your pardon. Was it going to be 7 p.m.? Be good?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Making that known for the recording. All righty. Outreach committee report. We are needing somebody that would like to head up the outreach committee or at least be present at the nationwide outreach committees meetings. They're starting a big project up right now as far as the nationwide outreach program. If there's anybody else that has any information, the floor is yours.
May I?
Of course. Thank you.
Joanne Spencer. Yep. Where do I begin? PKTFnews.org is down currently. It's for site updates for the server. So it's nothing on our end, but if you go to the UGE platform or just go to the PKTF News link tree, you should be able to find detail. Our blog site is up and running and humming. But if you want to be that fly on the wall for directors review and discussions, micro meetings, go ahead and check that out. As far as the nationwide outreach and worldwide outreach, you can find the details on that. It's too much to go into, but just go ahead and check that out. UGE, which is, we'll just go to the link tree and you'll be able to find that as far as details go on the outreach which includes the outreach for the Kentucky Assembly as well. I can put that in the chat if you guys, if anybody on the Kentucky Assembly is tracking that link.
I'm trying to find the recording to the last meeting was sent to me. I can't find it. Anybody else got anything on the outreach? May have been a part of that. All right. Librarian report. We're in need of someone who would like to take over the ombudsman committee and the librarian role as well. Well, that's librarian report, so we're looking for a librarian. Marshal at Arms report. All committee leaders, if you'd like to schedule a meeting on your committee or your pillar, just send me an email at this email here, requesting the date and the time. And right now we're scheduling for, we're given a 2-hour period for the meeting, asking that you start wrapping up at the 1.5 hour mark, at the 90-minute mark of your meeting. Just kind of pay attention to the clock, and that way, if we do start overlapping meetings, we're not missing meetings because one group is still on the call. That's just the Zoom platform at this time. I'm still taking applications to start filling deputy marshal at arms roles within the assembly. With everything we're looking at in the future, with the rescue mission going on, need to start taking application for deputy marshal at arms to start populating the pillars. And then I'm going to clear some things up from last meeting, because right now our meetings are recorded. So those are our meeting minutes. That's why they are, the effort is made to keep the website updated. That way, if you do miss a meeting, you can self-govern and find the meeting recordings and keep up to date with our meeting minutes, because we're struggling with people to staff positions right now. Our meeting minutes are virtual, and Anna has said that that's quite okay, especially with the times that we're in. So that being said, I had made the statement last general assembly meetings that I was on a 180-day window to find my way out of this position as marshal at arms. Well, I apologize to those that I have talked to since, and I appreciate those that I have talked to since. And it has made me kind of soul search a bit, to where I'm rethinking that decision. I think that I feel right at home as State Marshal at Arms at this time. So I'm going to recant that, and on public record on this call, I can't at this time leave the Kentucky Assembly. I just, that's where my heart lies. So all I'm saying is I'm taking back that statement of wanting to resign my position. I'm not stating what the future is going to hold, but at this time I'm recanting that decision. Okay. That's about all I got. I yield. Militia.
That might be
Can you hear
me.
me?
Go ahead, Chris. You got it, buddy. I can screen share it for you.
Okay. It's Chris O'Marion. We've been planning a training day that'll be coming up on August 31st. Looking at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're trying to use a picnic area at Taylorsville Lake, but it's still kind of, we're also checking in with Bernheim, but as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be at Taylorsville Lake. They have a pavilion with the Army Corps of Engineers. We're planning to do at least three, if not four, different sections of this training. We're looking at doing communications. Todd Carney and Joe Hayes are looking to give a little information on that. I'm going to be in charge of some water purification. Justin Jones volunteered to do the first day training, and if time permitting, we're hoping Laura Domick will do herbal remedies. Update on the business card. We talked with Patrick Stewart, the IT with PKTF on the last call, and he went through the design with us. We're waiting for a few last details. Joe may have an update on this because I don't think Todd was able to get a hold of him through email. You have anything on this, Joe? The last little bit of it?
Heck yeah, I do, buddy.
Good. How you, Joe?
All right, give me a screen share if you would, please. Marshall, Justin.
There you go. Not to distract from what Joe's saying, y'all, but as he's talking, I'm going to be populating the chat with the playlist so everybody can stay current with the meetings I yield.
Let's see if I can find it here.
Chris, I have a question. Is Nick coming? Will we have a generator? Could I possibly teach foot detoxes along with the herbs?
I haven't reached out to him, but I will to ask him if he would be able to attend that if you're interested in it.
Oh, Bob just said they do have power there.
Yeah, I believe Todd did say there's power, and what else did he say? $100 for electric, or $75 for picnic area with no electricity. But the pavilion's first come, first served, and it's free. But I'm planning on traveling down to Taylorsville Lake sometime this week or early next week and laying eyes on it and see what we're gonna have to work with. And if a generator is necessary, then I'll reach out to him and I'll let you know.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Chris, jump in if you can see this.
I can see it.
Perfect. Go ahead. I'll screen share, you walk through.
Yeah, we had Patrick Stewart on our last assembly militia call, and made some few changes to the card that Joe was currently using. Changed added the Kentucky Assembly to the front of it and added the seal. Changed the some of the colors on the Kentucky seal. Added the M to it for the militia assembly or the assembly militia, and changed the diamonds in it to the green color. Reason we added the M was for the militia pillar, where if the General Assembly and the International Business or the General Assembly wanted to get business cards, they could add their respective lettering to that if they wanted to.
I have the backside.
Okay, great. I know they was they used Joe's number on this because he's going to be like the call taker for the militia. Way I take it, Joe, being as you're and have the address.
Yeah, let me jump in on this. Of course, you guys know I'm from Kentucky, born and raised. There's no place in the Union I'd rather be. I can tell you that because I've traveled all 50 states intimately. I can tell you Kentucky is on top. But yeah, so as far as the Peacekeeping Task Force goes and its cooperation, affiliation with peacekeeping, lawful, peaceful cooperation with our current local and state law enforcement, I'm in the most harmonious place I can be. Okay, well, it's the least we can do to offer receptionist opportunities for anybody calling from the 120 states or counties that we have with regards to Kentucky Assembly Militia State Board of Defenses. So we will offer this as far as, if you can see on the screen, a simple call and physical location. They have that as well. Tailored to the Kentucky Assembly Militia. With that, I go ahead.
I think Patrick done a good job on these cards. They look really nice.
Hey, Chris, pardon me, Belinda Bullet has her hand up.
Go ahead, Belinda.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask about the meeting that's coming up at Taylorsville Lake. Laura, do you still want me to bring all of my stuff, books and herbs and all that stuff? Because it doesn't need electricity to make any of those that I make.
Yes, yes. I just was hoping to show people the foot detoxing also. So I kind of use my two together, the herbs and the detox.
Yeah, I mean, I do the detox too, but I don't do it foot. I do tub with the whole body. So I think we can just show them multiple ways. But with that, I yield. I just wanted to make sure you still needed that.
Thank you, Belinda. Laura, I'll reach out to Nick, but if he doesn't, I have one of those inverter generators. It's pretty quiet if we need one. Getting back to the cards, on the back side of this card, we added the militia motto, which is protect, move, communicate by lawful peacekeeping. We got the peacekeeping task force seal on it, being as we're basically tied together. And we have the PKTF link tree, QR code, and a V card contact QR code on the back of it also.
May I?
Yes, Joe.
Okay, let me toggle back and forth between the front and back side of this card. Just so you guys know, if you go to the blog section, you'll be able to see this advertisement on the with regards to Assembly Militia on all 50 states. Is that the Assembly Militia Pillar, which is a subcommittee, a special purpose committee. They have the opportunity to use this exact same template and exact same configuration. The only difference will be the point of contact and location contact and email address client. But they do have the same opportunity. The only difference again will be if it's out of state, it will be different on the contact, address, client, and location and website. Now, as far as the Peacekeeping Task Force is concerned, this is a Federation logo. We have a little bit of outreach opportunity to utilize this platform or this logo, which is not a Federation of States logo. It's a service provider logo. That's why the Peacekeeping Task Force and for the United States of America is attached to that. Now, the link tree and all of the corresponding links that are provided there, you'll see that. And again, pktfnews.org, magazine, monthly magazine update platform is there. The logo is there. The link tree is there. But this section here, the V card contact, if you scan it right now, you'll see that this leads to all contact information regarding to the Kentucky Assembly Militia. Okay, so in hand, this will be, which is 500 cards. And the recording secretary, our Treasury Committee is working on this procurement. But this, if you scan it right now as it is, you'll find the Assembly Militia leadership, field command leadership attached to this QR code. And that's all I have. I yield.
Yeah, I think, thanks, Joe. I think Todd just has a couple of small details to finish up with Patrick, and then should be good to go. I believe that's all I got on the militia update. How you?
Thank you, Chris. Over to you, Marshall.
Thank you. I'm just trying to get back to the agenda. Appreciate y'all's work on that. That looked pretty good. That said, from a Lincoln County, not as Marshal at Arms. Treasury report. Belinda.
Hello, everybody. Oh, where we go?
Sorry. I forgot I was screen sharing. I was going to try and get ahead of everybody.
All right, so the treasury hasn't changed a whole lot. We have had some payments come in to the Square account, some new paperwork being published, and then we've had a couple of expenses go out. Other than that, not much has changed. I think we went up like $30. And then I have 250 cash on hand, and Justin has 2028. And then we have a 10 troy ounce bar of silver. So our total, oh, I didn't update the total. Sorry. If we, sorry, I apologize. The grandbaby's going a little happy here. But those are the totals, but you all can add that up. It's going to be $30 more on that total. With that, I yield.
Laura on Jefferson.
Yeah, I just had a comment about the SIA coordinator position and Belinda doing the mochi. I really have no idea on any of that mochi process. I would just prefer for Belinda to keep doing it and possibly to step down. They tell me that there's not an SIA coordinator position when I go to the coordinator calls. So, but since Belinda has already handled that, I would appreciate it if that just stayed there, because I don't know how to do a spreadsheet. And I was looking at other positions, so I guess if just being an SIA coordinator just puts me in control of the mochi, I would appreciate it if Belinda would continue it, since she understands it and I do not. I just say that because I've been in the emails and I have no idea what's really going on with the mochi process, and I apologize, and I yield.
This is Belinda on Bullet. I don't mind to continue to field the questions. But my understanding is that there was going to be some meetings that would discuss the bond process and provide updates. But I think that that's supposed to be happening just like on any call whenever that information comes through. So I don't think there's a dedicated position, or at least I haven't been able to find, just like you, I've not been able to find anything, and no one seems to know. But I don't mind. I've got the spreadsheet, I've got all the documentation, and the only update that I know at this time is that there's no update. They collected all the information. They were going to put a bond together for the state of Kentucky, and that is basically it. I don't know anything else beyond that. I don't know if that's been done. I don't know if there's any plans to pay out anything on what we submitted. They've not provided anything as at this time that I'm aware of. And as far as a position adding on, I mean, I don't mind to continue to do what I'm doing, but I don't want to be involved in anything else because I'm actually looking for somebody to take over the state secretary role, because I currently already have 3 positions now. And with Cynthia having open heart surgery and my son's accident and just stuff that's going on in my life, I just don't feel like taking on anything else would be appropriate for me at this time. And with that, I yield.
But keep in mind, this last iteration of the mochi and getting all the mortgage stuff, it was just said the other day on one of Anna's calls that was for her to have leverage. It was not for any kind of debt remedy or anything like that. So where that got thrown out of proportion, I don't know. But the SIA program is one thing, and what just happened through getting everybody's mortgages and stuff like that together and giving it to the Federation was just for Anna to have leverage. That was not for any debt, debt reduction of a mortgage payment or anything like that. So just to reiterate, Laura, you have resigned the position of SIA coordinator. The reason I say it like that is because where we stood, for the public record of the meetings, that just kind of cancels it out. That's how we work. We worked in fact, not in hearsay.
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
we wanted to step up as county coordinators.
As Jefferson County coordinator.
Yes,
Okay.
unless things don't get worked out with Duran, then we will do the state thing. But that all lies on him.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, he's been removed as state coordinator. We'll discuss it Tuesday about an oversight committee of all the facts and stuff. But
Duran's on site if you guys want to talk about it.
I mean, if the people want to talk about it, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think we should talk about it, Justin. It appears that you've scheduled a meeting for Duran, that he's not even available next week, and he happens to be here. Seems like
had the opportunity
it
to
seems
talk.
like right now is a very good time to nip this in the bud. I don't think it should take up a whole meeting.
Have at it.
Until
Y'all got the
anyone else
floor.
has
Have at it.
experienced this.
Have at it. Y'all have the floor. Have at it.
Let's talk about some respect.
Yes, I agree.
You got the floor. You got the floor. The people, if the people want it cut off, I'm cutting it off, but you got the floor.
That I wanted to bring up, as Laura brought up, about policies and people's dismissal and whatnot. As I brought up earlier, that Anna said that it is about the people making the decision, not the people in leadership. It's becoming more of a dictatorship, and as if you guys are in charge and we answer to you, and that's not okay. That's not.
Duran, you have the floor, sir. I beg your pardon, Duran. You have the floor if you'd like.
You can't ignore what she
me.
just said. She has the floor. She's talking.
I get really tired of being cut off, Justin. And you do this to a lot of people in the assembly, and I'm about damn tired of keeping my mouth shut about it. I'm bringing it up, and I'm not trying to attack you, but a lot of people have been offended. And it is about time that this ends, that we need some kind of resolve here. Because you yourself had come up against an accusation, and us as in leadership, I believe now handled it inappropriately, because we took it upon ourselves, the three of us, to be the judge, jury, and executioner and make the decision of how that should have been handled. And it should have been brought up to the entire assembly. Now, I'm not here to discuss that issue. I'm just bringing it up as a matter of fact that this issue with Duran, he should have been afforded that respect, to be able to speak for himself amongst his peers, not just have an email articulation between leadership for leadership to decide, become the judge and jury based on his accusations, whatever they are, of his religious beliefs, his government affiliations, which I feel are unfounded. I've done my own little bit of investigation and dialogue and discussion to come up with a different opinion than y'all. And I just don't think what you guys are doing is right. And so, yes, I have things to say when it comes up to Justin having all the power to pull email credentials from anybody who breathes a word amongst leadership that they're thinking about stepping down, instead of having a Zoom meeting so we can all be in dialogue about why somebody is stepping down and how that policy and procedure should be handled. Should it be a 2 weeks notice? Should it be a volunteer just that drops it like a hot potato, which they absolutely can do? But should it not be a discussion amongst peers on how we handle policy and procedure? I had plenty of emails that I was in dialogue with, and my credentials were just taken with me. Oops, Jen's gone, she's dead. Who cares about the dialogue I was having with other outreach committees and different things that were going on? It was just taken from me. And so there again, I see there's a lot of paranoia going on when we make accusations amongst different people within the assembly without getting all the facts. And I even had a finger pointed at me in secret email. What's your agenda, Jen? Wait a minute. What? I gave all my heart and soul to this assembly. I was holding on more jobs than I care that anybody should be handling. But you know what? A woman in love can move mountains. I was in love with what I was doing. I did it with all my heart and soul. And to have someone point a finger and ask me what my agenda is because I bring up a different issue in private to leadership, which I tried to bring up in the assembly meeting, and I was muzzled. I was talked over. I was told to be quiet. That's not right. The abuse needs to stop. I've witnessed several people in the assembly, whether it's watching playbacks or being here in person, be talked down to, laughed at, scoffed at, and it needs to stop. I yield.
Belinda, your hand's up.
Okay, my question, Joe Hayes, can you answer a question for me? What is the role of the state marshal at arms?
Interior decorum, first and foremost.
And is it not also protecting the assembly's assets?
Yes, but that would deserve a mechanical standard operating procedure.
Okay, so, and the reason I'm directing this to you is not, it's not to put you on the spot, and I do apologize if it feels that way. But I'm just trying to make sure I understand as well, because the situation that I'm aware of, there was multiple emails that went back and forth, asking for a meeting, issues that were going on, things like that. How long should we wait to do something like that? Is that, do you all have a standard SOP that we should be following in that situation?
Usually it's 14 plus 1 days, which is a reasonable half or bi-monthly, bi-weekly, however you want, time.
Okay, is that written somewhere, or is that just something that you
Yeah.
know offhand?
That's just industry standard.
Okay. Would you mind sending me that, just a quick little snippet? Because I'd like to prepare something for next Tuesday's meeting.
Sure.
I'd appreciate that. And I'm not really sure. I understand, and I respect Jen. I think she is a nice person. And I know that there were some disagreements over some ethics and stuff like that. And I know that things got heated. It was not anything directed to her per se. It was the situation and the things that transpired and unfolded. So there's no one on the assembly that wants to be a dictator. And in fact, the ones that have stuck it out have lost significant losses personally because of sticking it out and trying to make sure that the assembly does have people that is wanting to move forward, because our whole goal is the majority, like the people who show up on the calls, the people who do vote. Those opinions do matter, and those are the ones that we need to show up on calls. And if you do take a position, unfortunately, there's a lot of calls that can transpire, and you may not be able to make them, but going back and reviewing them and taking notes and passing those on as is part of the position, it should be followed as much as possible. And we have to be accountable for what we agree to do and what we don't agree to do. And that's exactly why, you know, as state secretary, I'm trying to find somebody to take that position, because I know that I'm stretched thin, and I know that there's things that I can't do on an ongoing basis. So, you know, we all have to take that into account, and we all have to be respectful, because the people who are here for a reason. We all love the assembly. We all want it up and going, but we have to have people that are ready to come in and work hand in hand with everyone and communicate and have that open decorum without accusing them of having an ulterior motive just because we have a viewpoint or a word that we use that they don't like, or they may have had some kind of offense to. It is about communicating to each other. And if something is hurtful or disrespectful to them, then they owe it to themselves and everyone else to bring it up. and to let us be aware of that so that we can adjust it and be course corrected for everyone. It goes both ways. We can't just sit around and wait for people who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And again, Tuesday's meeting, I think we can go over a lot more in detail, but I'm going to yield because I think Duran wants the floor. And since he's here, he needs to go ahead and take the floor, especially if he can't be here on Tuesday's call. And with that, I yield.
I got a question to ask first. Whose decision was it to terminate me as a coordinator? Who has the power to do that?
First of all, you weren't terminated. You weren't terminated. You were afforded the due process. I was trying to afford you due process to have a meeting to discuss this so we could get the facts and present it to the General Assembly. I was trying to give you due process. Nobody terminated you. It was a notice of termination. It was a notice of termination in which I stated that for the time being, I was revoking your email address, and then I was removing you from state coordinator until it could be resolved. That's not termination.
Okay, remove is not termination.
Nope. It's affording you the due process by protecting the assembly at the same time.
Okay, so if you sent me notice that I was being removed for some allegations of was it disloyalty? I might be mixing the text with the email.
Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest. Did you set a meeting in that email?
No, I afforded you since your time schedule. If you'll read the email, the very bottom of the email says, please, at your convenience, reach out to anyone on the email list. It does not have to be me, so it was on your terms. So I gave you the notice, therefore due process is for you to reply. You never requested the meeting.
Okay, let me say this. I didn't find out about the email until after me and you had our dialogue in text. That's when it came out, because you were saying things I didn't even understand, okay, in the text, because I hadn't read the email, hadn't received it. Okay, so based on that, and we can share with the group all the text, they are recorded.
Yeah, I got them too. Yeah,
okay.
I got it.
I just said we can share it with them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. You got to have them. You wrote them. You was a part of the dialogue.
Right. And I sent you the email before the text. So I sent the email out to your personal email before
the
you
listening? Text. Are you listening? I said when me and you was dialoguing, I had yet to receive the email. So I didn't know nothing about the email. So the things you were saying in the text was confusing. That's the reason why I don't like texting.
Self-governing is checking your email.
Are you gonna interrupt me?
No, I'm not. Not one more time. I'll see you Tuesday, buddy.
See, this is Jen, what she just said about him, just been revealed. Control. He wants to control. He got the power. Y'all giving it to him. I don't mind him having the power. You know what I'm saying? I step back, let him control it if that's what y'all want. Majority rules. Okay? It's about what y'all stand for, what y'all gonna stand for. And if y'all allow Justin to continue to do what he's doing, hey, that's y'all choice. Y'all can have that. I'm not gonna be a part of it. Okay? But as I was saying, when me and him was texting back and forth, and he's saying all the things he's saying, and he's accusing me of being disloyal. See, I get all these accusations directly without understanding what it had to do with. If you read the text, once he shares it with you, I share it with him, he never mentioned anything about the conflict being me being a Moor. So I'm confused. He questioned my loyalty. And then he bring up my Facebook pages as if it was something I try to hide. And I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? I said, he probably having family issues again. Because ain't the first time he attacked me. And he apologized each time. And that's cool. But don't keep doing it. Don't keep making mistakes. Take responsibility and get your stuff together before you come at somebody. Now I'm gonna make this statement for everybody. I am not a part of a Moorish government. I'm a part of a religious organization. Religious. A right that y'all supposed to be supporting, encouraging, supposed to be one of the foundational principles of this country. Excuse the motion. And if this was questionable, as far as relationship me and Justin supposed to have, the me and relationship that Belinda supposed to have, you know what I'm saying? Can't say the same thing for anybody else in the email. But that's something you're supposed to call and discuss that. We supposed to be family. You don't communicate through no email, no text when you can call, because our relationship we supposed to have. But it just shows you was up to something, that it was an ulterior motive. But guess what? Justin only beat me to the punch. Because it's going to become a part of the time I was going to step down anyway, because guess what? I'm about to become a part of a Moorish government. If he was just patient, I would have been out his hairs, if that's what he wanted. But I was still studying, I was still learning, I was still understanding how things work. And I'm seeing the conflict that it's going to create, especially with my time. That's the reason why I encourage people to step up and become coordinators. So when it's times that I can't make it because of my work schedule was about to change, because I was starting to work, ready to start working, I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. I wanted, and I left y'all with 3 coordinators that can help through my absence from working. And as I became part of the Moorish government, y'all still got 3 that can maintain everything. So I recognize when I'm being attacked, because people don't understand my intent. And so when someone comes with an assumption, with allegations that are not true, it shows that they got ulterior motive. I see that plain as day. I don't got to prove it to nobody. As long as I see it, I share it and I keep it moving. Y'all can live a lie or live the truth. That's y'all choice. I ain't gonna force nothing on y'all. I want the best for each one of y'all, but y'all gotta want the best for yourselves, starting within your own mind. You gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta learn what it means to be fair to other people and respectful to other people. Not just use the words, behave in that manner. Now, just like the throw responsibility, your responsibility as a volunteer and all this. Like he don't know me, like he ain't established a connect from our conversation. Same with Belinda. That's how I know that this is traitorism. It's traitor, and y'all the same 2 people that showed the traits through the building of the so-called relationship between me and them. And I already know what they're dealing with, so I'm being patient. I'm not taking offense. I know your history, y'all history. I know my history. We ain't gonna keep faking. Y'all suffer from superiority complex like I suffer from inferiority complex. Then I'm working out as I overcome the traumas of my life, as I'm sure you're supposed to be. So I understand how you're gonna treat me, how you're gonna fall weak, and what you're capable of doing. I deal with facts. I deal with truths, the hard ones, the ones that people been avoiding, don't want to discuss. So it's just as difficult for me than it is for you, but don't lie about it. Because when you lie, you make it that much harder, and then you start to justify the continuance of your unjust behavior. But I ain't gonna hold up too much y'all time. You know, Some of y'all might not even want to hear. Some of you might have me on mute. But y'all got the floor.
May I?
Go ahead.
I've put my issues in the chat. I don't think it's professional to end a position without a voice dialogue, period, just as far as policy and procedures go. You know, we do have things in our emails, and for me, if you took my email, you would be getting a lot of my evidence for my court cases. So I understand just your email being taken, and that is like a what do you call it? It's like an asset. Mine is definitely an asset because it contains all of my records for my court cases. So that I understand. I guess with that, I mean, because you said you're already going to the Morris community. I mean, I just hate losing a volunteer that was putting their time in over really a procedure that if we had down pat, there would be no discussion like we're having now. You know, if we had clear policies and procedures and people knew what to expect when they stepped into a position, I don't think this would be happening. I don't like the division it causes, but I understand that sometimes God divides us so that we all get our own little knowledge from somewhere, and bring it back as a whole, you know, so that we're getting refined or, you know, kind of sifted, to be honest, because this is a trial. And I think we all have good hearts here. So with that, I just, you know, if you can't be here next Tuesday, where do you stand? I mean, are you going to completely leave the assembly? Do you still have a heart to serve some of the people on the assembly? I mean, where do you stand?
This is where I stand. My heart is always with the cause. Okay. It's, you know, and we always gonna have people who just they can't learn how to be sincere. And we gotta learn how to deal with them kind of people. You know, they got to be sneaky, they got to indulge in their lower nature. Okay. But the stronger spiritual people that's founded in their principles, they have to stand up and speak against the behavior. When you speak against injustice, it corrects it. If you don't speak against it, if you don't have the courage to speak up, then it's going to keep going. It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep causing problems. But we already know this. It's part of the reason why we're seeking change.
You
You got to have
Belinda?
courage for the truth. Go ahead.
Belinda's had her hand raised before Lord spoke. So Belinda, but you still, is that from before or is that a new hand raised?
No, that's a new hand raised because Duran had said a few things that was very untrue when it comes to me. We have had multiple conversations and we've always had a good relationship from the very beginning, and we've had nice dialogue. But at the same time, when I questioned him and asked him questions about the coordinator role, he then accused me of being racist. So that
I
was,
accused you of being racist?
yes, you did on the phone
When?
call. On the phone call where you called me after you had the dialogue with Justin.
What'd I say to you?
You told me that I have a closed off mind and I'm not seeing it from your point of view. And if I just understood where you were coming from, but you didn't want to listen to where I was coming from. You didn't want to listen to anything I had to say. And when I tried to explain my side, that's when you got upset and started saying, well, that's what you all do to us. Well, you all just need to leave us alone. We're trying to get along with everybody else. And then you accused me of not believing in religion or having something against religion. And I said, that has nothing to do with it. I am a religious person. I do believe in God, and I do not discriminate against anyone. I am more than happy to be around any human being and help any human being who is willing to help themselves and also be accountable for their own actions and their own words. And I've helped soothe over conversations where I have been in meetings with you where you have actually gone off on people because you didn't read the room or understand exactly what was going on. So it happens all of the time. And if we can talk rationally and communicate in a normal tone instead of getting upset, because again, words can be misconstrued and misunderstood. If we read our facts and we stay up on them and we ask questions when we're unclear, you can avoid 99.9% of that. And that didn't happen in the call. You immediately got like that. And then when I said, okay, Duran, I'm done, you said, yeah, that's how it works, isn't it? Anytime I say something, you just get mad and hang up. And I let you talk for 45 minutes before we did that.
Okay, let me interject this. Now, first, when you started out, when I asked you, when did I call you racist or what did I say? What you said didn't reflect me calling you racist.
Yeah, you did. Because your
Okay,
words were.
wait a minute. I understand that a lot of times when people communicate, we assume things based on what they say, you know, because like, you know, when a person tell you they love you, you know they don't love you, okay? And that's a trauma that a lot of us suffer. You know, we don't ever get down to specifically by asking a question, what do you mean by that? You know, we assume, and that's how you felt. I can't take it away
No,
from you.
I asked you if you thought I was being racist, and you said
No,
yes.
No, I told you
Duran,
that.
may
No,
I?
no, don't interrupt us. Don't interrupt us. I told you that every time I came and talked to you about somebody, you know what I'm saying, you always take their side.
I'm the
That's,
devil's advocate. I
wait a minute,
have to.
and
We're
that's when
supposed
I
to be
told you. I
neutral.
said, don't play no devil advocate with. Be truthful. I don't need nobody to play no devil's advocate with me. You be straight up with people. Also, I don't play games like that.
That's the position you put me in.
No, I put you in that position.
Listen, we don't need to do this. Hold up, just a second. You're muted. Linda, you're muted. Listen, we're not doing this. You can call me dictator. You can call me whatever you want to call me. Okay. But we're not doing this. Keep in mind, these meetings are for the public review. And I'm just going to say this, not be a dictator. I want the other 12 people on this call, the other 12 men and women on this call, if you want this to proceed and this to be what people that are looking for rescue to see when they come to our website and look, and you let this continue. If not, I yield. Right.
People,
Your hands
go ahead.
raised.
Somebody got a hand raised? We're not stopping.
Anita has her hand raised.
Yeah, this is Anita on Mead. You know, I feel like we've already tried to have a separate meeting from the General Assembly meeting. I know before Duran got on the call, everybody planned on having this meeting on Tuesday night. So Duran, are you available on Tuesday night? I mean, this needs like, you know, this is a General Assembly meeting, which all this stuff needs to be on a separate course. So Anita, are you available on Tuesday?
Anita, Jen already explained to you when she first spoke up that I wouldn't be available Tuesday. That's why we're discussing it now.
So when will you be available?
Well, next week I work 6 days a week. I'm off every Sunday, and every other week I get a day off with that Sunday.
Okay, so you tell us what your schedule is and everybody will join in the meeting with you.
Okay, but see how you made that decision, and the decision was already made to discuss this? See, it's confused. Everybody's confused. Nobody knows what they want to do.
No, I'm just trying to clarify the situation because everybody wanted to have a discussion on the process and what's going on Tuesday night.
Because I wasn't on the call.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You weren't on the call at that time.
And
so
Justin said, now that I'm on the call, y'all, if they want to discuss it, go ahead and discuss it. Nobody opposed.
All right, you have the floor. Thank you. Have a good night.
See how we don't listen to each other? We don't. Everybody just wanted their way. Justin made a decision based on what Jen expressed. Nobody spoke. We got to get it together.
Sean's hand is raised if you don't see it.
No, I don't see it. Go, Sean.
Yeah, I called Sean on Pulaski. Remember, we're listening to people.
No, but let anybody in at any point. You know, I'm you know, just let me, Deron, somebody got their hand raised if I'm talking because I can't see, and I'll shut up.
That's Sean on Pulaski. I'm just gonna go ahead and ask, is this a General Assembly meeting or is this a Jerry Springer show? For real. I mean, I'm here to listen to a General Assembly meeting. I mean, can we do that?
We got an issue. Do you wish to help us resolve it?
We were trying to have that resolved in another time. Is anybody against having it done on another time? I mean, we only got one day here for this General Assembly meeting. We're gonna have to wait another 34 days for another one.
Why didn't you say that when Justin gave you that opportunity?
I'm just asking now. You're here.
Why? Why wait?
I'm asking now.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a General Assembly meeting going on here?
Ask Justin. He the one gave it, us permission to discuss this.
Okay, that's all
He's
I'm
the top
asking.
dog,
I
ain't he?
wasn't for sure.
Well,
I
I'm
just
not
was
the top dog.
confused.
Correct that I am not the top dog. Can y'all hear? Can you hear me? I like to correct the record. I'm not the top dog. I've said that over and over again, and this is pointless. This
It's
is
your behavior, how you act, how you do it. It
Okay.
ain't what you say.
Okay. Okay. And yes, to answer your question, Sean, this is supposed to be a General Assembly meeting, but me being not the dictator, I'm letting the people control the thing. So speak up, people.
Yeah. Speak up, people.
I move that we table this discussion and based on
Other
Duran's
people, not the
schedule,
same people.
and I make a motion to the floor to continue on with the General Assembly meeting.
Second.
Third.
Like the people has spoken. We'll table this discussion whenever you're available, Duran.
Three
We'll-
people? Hold up. We only heard from 3 people. How many on here? Oh, are you go again? You can't help it, can you, Justin?
No, yeah, I sure can, bud.
Let the other people speak.
I am. Anybody else want to speak? Go ahead. Everybody's got the floor. Anybody want to?
Hey, on the order, I speak. I'd like to get on with the General Assembly meeting and we can set this thing to Ron's, you know, whatever day you think you're available. I'd be happy to do that.
That's 5 now. That's 5.
This is a need on me. We need to have the General Assembly meeting and transfer this discussion to a meeting that, you know, is going to decide how to go forward with another situation like this. We need to, you know, decide how to go forward with it, and it's not with the General Assembly meeting. I yield.
That's 6 out of 14.
Come on, we got to stand up and speak. Y'all got a voice, use it.
They are, man, and you're cutting.
Shut up.
Hey, man, it ain't necessary.
You're cutting them down. They're speaking, and you're cutting
No,
them down.
I'm cutting you down because you keep getting in
Well,
the
you don't need
way.
to be shutting nobody down.
Well, you
I'm
be
down.
quiet too then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See, I said what I said in my text, and I see how it's affecting y'all.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm gonna give y'all peace. I'm stepping back.
See you.
Y'all enjoy yourself.
Happy.
And guess what?
All right. Peace, peace. Shalom, shalom.
Peace, peace.
Right.
Happy, happy, happy.
I
It
will,
comes and it goes.
I will bring up the agenda.
Thank you, Marshall.
Let's see. Can y'all see that? My phone died on me. I apologize.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, I got it.
Awesome. All right. So where was we? List-
I think we was all over there for a minute.
He never did say his availability. So was this just tonight and it's done? Do we still need the Tuesday meeting? Is there a time like it can be rescheduled? Is Tuesday still on the books?
Still
No, he
think-
said he was available on Tuesday at all.
Well, may I
Okay,
speak?
can I say something?
Yes, please. You're probably going to say the exact same thing I'm getting ready to say. Thank you, Anita.
The Tuesday night meeting was a meeting about how to handle issues like this from this day forward. So I think we still need to have the meeting, Laura.
I agree. I agree. But
That's-
it's not going to be to give him a voice. So
Well, if you want to reach out to him and if he wants to come on the meeting, it's an open meeting, so I don't, you know,
he just said he
But-
didn't have availability. No, my point
right,
is he was saying that he still wants the Morris. That's why I asked him, are you still willing to serve the Kentucky Assembly? You know, I mean, because we got to know that on where he stands anyway. And it doesn't seem like he is willing to continue with us.
okay.
So-
Well, we just need to have a meeting Tuesday. We need to let them go ahead and get done with the General Assembly meeting.
Yeah.
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 Can I say something, please? Because going back to what Jen said about what happened to me, I'm not a bit afraid of that because I raised my hand as a public official, knowing my public, what was on the public. Okay. So I think we desperately, now after 3 months or 4 months of that happening, what Jen brought up, I think we desperately need some type of committee to handle this because this is really, really gotten blown way out of proportion. Due process was given, not just 2 weeks, but but I'll not go into it because this needs to be worked out. Me, him, Belinda, Joe Hayes, anybody does not deserve what is going on right now. Nobody deserves this. This is a rescue mission. This is not high school drama. This is not a club. This is an American civil government that we're trying to create. And here, this meeting is going to be put on the public record. It's going to be put out there for all to see. And I yield with that.
Yeah, I agree. That was my problem with Needy. I don't like our dirty laundry being aired. I didn't think it needed to be recorded either because it's it's not serving the public, it's serving the assembly.
And I tried to afford to run the due process that I was given when it was all hearsay that was brought up in my face. Hearsay, none of it's fact. But
Okay,
anyway,
let's just proceed with the meeting and
I
take a
t-
deep breath, everybody, and let's get started.
yep.
News for Bob.
Treasury report, I think we ended there. I hear my peahen's calling. She's wanting fed. IT education committee report. I mean, the Gilberts, I don't know, has anybody talked to Ashley or Nick about, they've raised their hand to serve, but I haven't heard anything from them. And that's not, that's just a fact. That's not making anything up on anybody. Has anybody heard from them?
May I, Justin?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
This is Ray on Odom. Last thing I heard was on our last meeting. And I did not get any kind of response back on the vetting from Ashley. And I think on July 7th, I sent you all the paperwork I had and I can only do what I can do. And I'm gonna go over that in the meeting when we get to the vetting minutes. And
Okay. So just for everybody's general knowledge of general populace, I beg your pardon, see hands. I just saw him, Joe Hayes and then Belinda.
Yeah, as far as General Assembly Committee, I can attend easily the Sunday meetings. Are there replays for that? And I don't have anything really to bring to that as far as PKTF substance for the General Assembly. Some aspects, but not. I mean, I can't attend those. Is that on the website as far as the replays go?
Yeah, there's a link to the playlist. They're all in a playlist and under the General Assembly tab.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Belinda?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you know that Nick and Ashley did send a text message and said that they were working till 10 tonight and they couldn't attend.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about also too. It's been like nothing against them. I know everybody's busy, but besides tonight, have we heard anything from them? As
Oh,
far-
no, I have not. I'm sorry.
Okay, but as far as an IT, I am trying to work with a woman out of West Liberty. She's having some issues right now from a self-governing standpoint, but I was supposed to have a meeting with them to get a link tree link worked into our website, and I was going to not give her full access to our assets, the IT credentials. I was going to make her a content creator because that's her background, is she specializes in educational tools and putting stuff together for stuff like that. But that's in the works. It's just where everybody's volunteer and everybody's got stuff going on. It's hard to get a team together to sit down and work on an IT project. It's more or less giving somebody a mission that's got the IT skills and they handle it on their personal time. So there's always that opportunity out there for anybody that hears this, that's here on the call now. If you have any IT skills at all, WordPress preferably, or would like to learn as we go, sit down and kind of just on a Zoom call, screen share and go over and pick and choose what, learn it together, then we can do that. But I'm always up for that. Of course, schedule per meeting. But as far as we got is IT. Right now, you can go to the website and keep up with all of our recordings on a different tab. Litigation committee report. Anything from litigation?
We've just been working, I go to Christie's litigation meetings. I kind of mirror it on what I'm learning from my case, which
Yeah.
is basically their courts. So it's not a true litigation committee for like our courts.
Right.
I do know that they want everybody to send that criminal notice of, they've changed it. It used to be the Declaration of Providence and Jurisdiction. What we've been discussing in the litigation meeting is getting everyone to send that to their Secretary of State before any kind of, conflict happens.
Hey, did you see on the past, I think it was the last Honor training on Thursday night, where she had so much trouble, but the woman Priscilla on there got on and she mentioned that she was leaning the judges. Did you hear Honor's reply to that?
Right, that there could be retaliation, yes.
Right. She said, don't lean the individual, lean the corporation.
Right.
Right. Reckon the litigation committee got that notice?
Yes, they're still trying to figure it out, because we were working on like how to lean the state trust,
Yeah,
like Anna's advice that she gave on June 6th. But if you heard, now that Chevron deference has occurred, she doesn't even recommend that.
Right.
Unfortunately, I've already done that. But so but yeah, we just go over due process. And if anybody's needing help with any kind of court issues, if you could just reach out to me, I'll try and help you on a personal level. Sean Pulaski, he's very good at litigation knowledge. I guess that's basically how we should do it, is just a need, because, when I did do litigation meetings, there was only like 3 of us there, 2 of us being me and Bob. So, but I'm willing if anybody thinks that I could help with any legal processes. And I yield with all that.
Hey, Laura, do you have the link to the Thursday litigation meetings that you could put in the chat if anybody was to need it?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, those meetings are good for your individual self-governing, battles. But on the assembly level, we're trying to do a little bit. And she mentioned that at the very end of today's podcast too, about the assembly and all that kind of stuff. So glad everybody will have a chance to listen to it. General Assembly Committee report. I beg your pardon, Laura. Is that all you had?
Yes.
Okay. Belinda, your hands up.
Yes, I just got a message. Did somebody get kicked from the meeting today?
Yeah, I booted a John from the John on he was posting stuff in the chat. Y'all can go back and look at the stuff that he was posting in the chat. And so with him not being status corrected, I didn't know who he was.
His name's John McClure, and he just texted me before this. This was the conversation I was having with Joe. Not text me, emailed me. Because he said, I gave him your all's numbers, but he's not papered up, so I don't think he understands it, and he's wanting somebody to do all the work for him. Like he doesn't understand the self-governing or the sovereign part, because his last sentence of his email to me said, "Prove me wrong and help me now." And I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this is volunteer.
Yeah, y'all can see what he posted in the chat.
Okay, well, so he's texting me is why I'm asking. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's all I wanted to know. I told him he could call me tomorrow. So, but Laura, if you can send me any information you might have on the situation, that would be helpful. With that, I yield.
Okay.
Joe, your hand's raised.
People, I don't know, I don't know what I'm dealing with here, but I'll just let you guys know this man has extended his salutation through the PKTF conduit. The very first correspondence I had with him is, I was supposed to meet you at the Louisville area. You weren't there. I need to set up a meeting with you. I don't know how you guys want to decipher this, but I just default the idea that we have people who are paid, persuaded, however, to then insert themselves into the assembly with all of their abrasions. Okay, how else to differentiate between genuine sincerity or otherwise? I don't know. But this man is not showing himself to be true to his intent. And there's nothing in his email that I've sent, which I've sent to the Marshal at Arms, that would insinuate that his sincere intent for status correction is even there. Okay. So we're dealing with some level of low profile insertion into the assembly. I don't know what else to say. I've sent everything to Justin on that, but there's nothing that would substantiate his sincerity on status correction.
Yep. I've read it, and he told me the same thing with my response to him. My response is the same to everybody. I mean, we can't. I'm not going to say that. Laura, your hands on your hands up.
Yes. I believe his name's Michael John on North Carolina. He is the one that told me John McClure needed help on Facebook. And so he did start messaging me on Facebook and say that, he went to the physical address. And to that, I responded that it's suites and we rent it out. Because he said he talked to people at the Forest Green Boulevard location. And I'm like, well, those weren't our people. I mean, unless you've scheduled a meeting, those aren't our people. So it seems like he's expecting like walk-in service, like we're a business, and doesn't understand we're volunteering or anything about the assembly. So education needs to happen. He did tell me today that he was a truck driver and he could not make the Zoom meeting. So I was surprised to see him on the call tonight.
That should all be data points. That should all be data points. I mean, we're trying to do the right thing. We can't help it. That's the way people self-govern and handle themselves.
May I?
Yes, please.
Those doors are magnetically locked, triple galvanized glass, reinforced glass. There's two receptionists that are there. They can see right into. Okay, there's no way any of this corroborates truth. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know how to deduce this other than it's just fabricated, completely fabricated. Okay. That's just where I am at this point. I've walked the entire assembly. There's 4 floors, or the entire building. There's 4 floors and 1 subfloor. This is not nothing that I can substantiate as being true with this man visiting our location. It's nonsense. Okay. It's just utter nonsense.
From his email, I got that he needed, help with IRS, and he put it in the chat too. So what's the point of getting papered up if it doesn't stop the IRS? And I responded in the chat that, it's a process. It's a start.
Can I make a suggestion? And this is just the way I handle those type things. And you can attest to this, Laura. When I papered you up out of the emergency that it was, and forgive me for blasting this out, but I believe, and I'm not trying to be callous when I'm telling you this, I'm trying to be truthful with everybody. I believe I was telling you that this status correction is not going to achieve what you want to achieve the way you're trying to achieve it. Okay? We're not status correcting to get ourselves out of the IRS. Yes, we are individually, but we're here right now to assemble. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say that. It's just the fact of the matter. And when people come to us wanting help with IRS and all this, then we need to self-govern ourselves and say, here's the paperwork process. Here's a recording secretary. That's what this meeting on Tuesday hopefully will stem discussions about, is how do we handle conflict? How do we handle people coming into us? Yes, it's a rescue mission, but that's to get people status corrected onto the land and soil. When you come to the assembly, there's certain responsibilities and stuff that is just known how to treat people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being on the subject. Yes.
I don't know if I was clear on that as far as entering into the building at the Forest Green Boulevard building. You cannot get into that building. I mean, I don't know where this man has asserted his necessity or lack of participation. You can't get into the room. You can't get into the office, which is on the left side, all of the left side of the lower floor, and again all of the subfloor. I'm just referring to the man here who is, at this point, inserted himself into the assembly. It's completely not true as far as him reaching out to PKTF. I've sent everything to Justin as far as what has been, conveyed as far as status correction. At this point, the only thing I can decipher to everyone is this is completely contrived, not true at all whatsoever. And it's reminiscent of what the CIA would do as far as providing their vertical borders and creating nonsense, just utter nonsense. There's no way he could have even brought himself into the meeting of the Peacekeeping Task Force Louisville location. Completely nonsense. You can't get in there. You have to have a kiosk, a fob key to get into the building, be standing there and just knocking on the door. I'm just reverting back to what we were talking about earlier. I'm sorry.
I believe he's back. Maybe we can ask him.
No, I put him in a waiting room. We need to get on with the General Assembly meeting. Jen's hand was up.
I was just going to comment that I noticed he's entered in the chat again, and it looks like the name's changed again. So I don't know if that's who you're referring to, but it looks like it might be the same person.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Litigation Bureau Assembly Committee. I was relayed from Tom that he got called into work. He couldn't be here. So the only message he really much had was that the meetings are being changed from 6 p.m. Eastern to 5:30 p.m. Eastern. That was okay through the committee. He relayed that to me. And so we'll do that. And the next 4 meetings for the General Assembly meeting will be recurring meetings. Okay. So when you get that link, hold on to that link, save it, because that's a recurring meetings for the next 4 General Assembly meetings. And then I will message Joe about the time schedule. Maybe that enter that in and they can discuss that as well. Or if you're good with the replays, those are available like I told you. Cool. Anybody got any questions, comments on the General Assembly that we could relay back to Tom? Okay, moving on. Recording secretary report. We're doing a $25 publishing fee still, $25 recording fee. That's for first time, and a priority mailing if we had to mail anything back to you. It pretty much hadn't anything changed except for now it's a $5 additional form for after the initial recording publishing. And I would just like to go over just briefly that the difference between recording and publishing. Recording is taking your intent, putting it on paper, and getting a witness and witnessing that document. That's recording your intent. The process of publishing is taking that recorded document that's official now that it has its witnesses and been notarized, and making it that more official by putting the publishing stamp on it and publishing to the public record. Okay. Now, not to get too far off in the weeds, once you have that original document or close to original document that's been recorded as possible, and it's been published by the Kentucky Assembly with the publishing stamp, and you get that document back, we will publish it to the LRO, but there's other avenues of publishing, which is a newspaper, the county clerk, recorder. You can take that document with that publishing stamp on it and try and get it on other avenues of public. Yeah. Got it. And so we have had David Casimos has resigned as well. And see, that's how this works. When you give a resignation, they gave it to me and I'm announcing it at the General Assembly meeting. Okay. Go ahead, Belinda.
I also did add on there that when sending that information over, I've gotten probably, I want to say 5 or 6 different requests here lately, and it's multiple emails and it's out of order and it's multiple documents, and I have no idea what order they're supposed to be in or how they're supposed to be recorded. If it's all together, if it doesn't matter the pages. Like when you send something to be published or recorded, you need to have it in one single PDF and in the order in which you want it recorded, so that there's no confusion and there's no mistake on what it is that you're asking for. Because unfortunately, no matter how you send it, I have to go in and print out every single page, figure out the ordering of it. Then I have to stamp it, put your recording number on there, and then scan it again, and then, attach it to your LRO. So I need you to have it in a single document when you send that over. And if you're not sending it over in a single document, then I need to know exactly what it's supposed to be going with. It would be best if it was just one single document, just to be honest, because that cuts down on my time. I have to try to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I did add that in there. So if you want something recorded, it needs to come together all in one envelope or all in one PDF file, or at least on the same email with instructions on what needs to be together and in what order. And with that, I yield.
I'm understanding. I'm sorry. I will take all blame for that. I already know it's me. What I was trying to do is my documents were
It
so
wasn't
long.
just you.
Well, like Sarah's writ of error was 24 pages. And so I could send it through the PDF without us have already signed it. And then I was trying to just sign the last 2 pages and send that with it to add to it. Because it takes me, I don't have a self-feeding printer, and it takes me a long time to scan it in sheet by sheet Like I'm talking a minute for each sheet I'm scanning. So that's what I was trying to do with that. And, but I'm still working on more before I get to federal. So I've got more paperwork coming in. I'm so sorry. So I just need to do this, to hold them accountable because we're in a position we should not be in. All right, I yield.
Laura, if you want, call me one day next week and we can figure out in what order everything's supposed to be, and I'll get those recorded for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And Belinda, I got your request for the change of email. So if you're good with it, I'll just change the state secretary to state treasurer.
Okay, yeah.
And you can, that way you don't have to change your password or nothing. I don't think. We'll see if it works like that. And then, like I said, we have a recording secretary email that you and I both we can get a plan together since we're the recording secretaries. We can get a plan on how we're going to start handling intake. And then, once we get the coordinator situation figured out,
Okay,
hopefully we get there.
sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okie dokie. Anything else? Anybody got any questions from the recording secretary? All right. Vetting report, vetting committee.
It's Ray on Oldham. Okay, I got a couple of things to put out, and it should be pretty short though. We did meet. Chris and I met a few weeks back. We had a Zoom call for just discussing vetting issues. And Justin, you were there. Belinda, no, you couldn't make it. But some of the things we talked about is, first of all, I'm going to be resigning 1 September. So I'm trying to help Chris get everything together and make sure that everything's tight before I do roll on. But so some of these changes, I guess what I'm going to tell you what we were proposing to change, and it's up to you guys tonight to give your input and vote on it, yay or nay. And one of the changes was, we've been talking to Lisa Schaefer of Ohio, and she mentioned something about getting rid of the word SOP. So we put in there implementation of guidelines, procedures, and processes, just like the Ohio and Michigan Assembly's done. So it's not a big change there. It's just implementation of guidelines, procedures, and processes instead of standard operating procedures. And another thing we talked about was we did have a vetting process going that took 44 days, and I wasn't getting a response from the candidate. So at that point, I just kind of forwarded everything I had to Justin, and that's all we can do. So I wanted to add something else, and we talked about that the other night or a few weeks back about if a candidate doesn't respond to multiple calls and efforts by the vetting committee, then at the end of 30 days or by the next meeting, we're going to go ahead and turn that paperwork in and do it as incomplete. Most of you guys have been through the vetting process. It doesn't take more than 2-3 days. Sometimes people might say, hey, I'm going on vacation. I can't do it because of this or that, and that's fine. Even if it takes 45 days, as long as we're talking, we can move forward for the goal. But to just disappear, we got to cut it off somewhere. So that's something I added into the SOP. And if anybody's got any problem with that, we can take it back out. But if anybody does have an issue with it, if you could, please let me know now. And then if not, okay, I don't see any hands. And I'd also like to ask if anybody else would like to step up in the vetting committee. I'm not going to disappear. I'm going to be around. You're still going to see me in meetings from time to time. But if anybody still wants to step up and help in the vetting assembly, vetting committee, I'm sorry, I've still got some time to work with you and show you what you need to do and do to help Chris. I've done it for 3 years by myself. It's been nice having Chris on board. Just takes a little bit off my shoulder. But is anybody out there? Good hand? No? Okay, well, keep that in mind. And that's all I've got. How you? And Chris, I'll get those changes input for you and send it back to you to proofread.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate your service and wish you luck in your next endeavor on this journey.
Here, here.
Bob on Jefferson.
Yes, I still want to be on the vetting committee. I guess maybe I just need a new link to send to me for an invitation because the other one just keeps throwing me off.
Okay, Bob, I'll do that tonight. I think you'd be a great addition. I don't know what happened last time, some kind of technical stuff. Yeah, let's try it again for sure. I'll send it out to you tonight, buddy. Appreciate you
Thank
stepping
you.
up.
Will you add me to that email so I could possibly help him if he needs it?
Laura, okay. We can do. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Chris. Laura, your hand is raised.
There isn't an ombudsman report on here. But I was wanting to vote on what I wasn't calling it an SOP. I think I kind of like peaceful peaceful honorable code adoption. Like if we could just, and it was real simple. I sent it to Joe, but I'm looking at stepping down as being the chair of the ombudsman tonight because I believe Bob and I would like to step up as state coordinators. And I'm just saying this now because we're losing people off the call and I wanted everybody to be able to vote on that. But it is something that could wait till our policies and procedures on Tuesday. I just was going to try and step down as it, so I was trying to finish that up.
Well, I would like to nominate you and Bob for the state coordinator role.
Second.
I don't care what it seems like from others. I don't want it to seem like it seems like I don't care. I'm sorry for saying that, but we need that position filled. It's obvious from what Duran said tonight. He was already on his way out. So, I mean, I'm not putting them words in anybody's mouth. So I would like to nominate Bob and Laura for the state coordinator so they could get access to those calls and the email and all that kind of stuff. So I, Justin Jones, on Lincoln County, move the floor to nominate Laura and Bob.
Joanne Spencer, second.
All right, we got a second from Joe. Is there anybody would like a question or comment that? Ray, your hand's up, sir.
Yes, sir. I think we've talked before, if they're going to be coordinators, that's a part of the federation side, right?
Yep,
So
you
can't really be vetting committee at the same time. Is that correct?
Yep. I mean, they can sit on a panel now. Now, as far as actually being on the vetting committee, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think that would be a conflict of interest. And I'm sorry that that's so harsh a term to everybody, but it would be. That's just like me as state marshal at arms sitting on your vetting committee. I can help support and give information of my, the talent that I have as far as research and stuff like that. But as far as being able to make any decision on the vetting committee, that would be a conflict of interest for me. Now, sitting on a vetting panel, if you would like to reach out to the state marshal at arms office and say, hey, I have this candidate, they're vetted for this position, would you like to sit on a vetting panel? What that means is one of your representatives, a coordinator, it's on what the people decide that panel is going to be, right? So this is all discussion that needs to be brought to your committee, and your committee make it happen and bring it back. And we all know how it works, but yeah, I mean, that would be a conflict of interest in my opinion. Now, as far as coordinators and sitting on the panel, no problem at all. That makes the most sense. That takes the weight off of your vetting committee chair.
Yeah, we need that too. That would be very helpful too. Just if they could sit in on one of the, the interview calls or something instead of just being one person. It'd be nice to have two or three. So, okay. I appreciate that.
So Laura and Bob, do y'all have an issue with that? I mean, does that make sense? Do y'all have, I mean,
No, he withdraws the vetting. That's why I brought it up when I did, because I knew when he said that it was a conflict of interest.
okay.
But you know, with everything going on with Duran, I think it kind of left us up in the air on what was happening. So, you know, I waited to the end of the meeting. And I'm sorry because some people didn't get to vote because we did that, but I yield.
Well, I mean, we're all in this together. We're all trying to be transparent. There's no 1-800 number for this. We're learning as we go. And I mean, that's just it. I mean,
Well,
so,
I'll step up to whatever needs to be done. Whatever you think is more important, that's what I'll do.
well, no, I mean, it's been seconded. So should we take a poll?
I'm
Sure.
sorry, what?
It's been seconded. If anybody doesn't have any comments or further questions about this, so just for the record, the coordinator position works for the Federation. Okay, the Kentucky Assembly vets that. You've already been vetted, so there's no issue there. The Kentucky Assembly vets that position, and we hold on to that information for whenever the Continental Marshal Service gets to it. Now, what I mean by works for the Federation, that means that you go work with the other men and women that work for the Federation. Bring it back to us on the state, and you know we put it in. We make it happen. But coordinator is just what it says. It coordinates everything. So you'll be involved on the intake. You'll be involved on just about every aspect of the assembling process as a coordinator.
Okay, I don't believe I've been vetted.
You have not.
Well, let me run this by everybody, okay? Laura has.
Yes.
One of the reasons, in my opinion, that we have had so much trouble filling the coordinator role is because of the work that goes into it may not be supported, or at least it wasn't in my case, was not supported by my wife at home. And in Laura and Bob's case, we have the benefit of a 2-for-1 package here, okay? Because they're natural organizers. They have the credentials as working in the Scouts. They're natural organizers, and that's what we need. So is it necessary to have Bob vetted if Laura's been vetted? I'm trying to get an opinion.
I would say just, sorry, this is Belinda on Bullet, but I would say because as a coordinator, they're going to be having access to the different email addresses and stuff like that. So I would say that the vetting would need to be done on Bob just as well, because if he's sending the email out for it, then and having that contact with individuals, it just has that coverage that we're looking for. And typically that position is a vetted position. So, I mean, my opinion would be that they would both be vetted. I yield.
I agree.
Okay, Laura. Sean had his hand up briefly, but Laura, yours was up first.
I was just going to say that I think he should be vetted. It gives us more transparency and professionalism. I mean, I know there's nothing there, but I guess it's the coverage thing that Belinda is saying. So, but I can stand as coordinator because I have already been vetted. So maybe we need to move in that direction and just work on getting Bob vetted.
Yeah, that's an option. Get Bob vetted, and he could be Jefferson County coordinator while you sit as a title, because it's all titles, really. It's pretty much all it is. So, move's been made. It's been seconded. Are we ready to poll?
Let's poll.
Okie. Is there any abstain? Let's get your hand lowered, Laura. There we go. Everybody's clear on hands. No hands are up. Out of 11 people, is there any abstains? Any nays? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand emoji. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. All righty, that pretty much does it. So thank you very much. Let's set up something offline to get you the credentials, and we'll go over how to use them and how to, add to this point that we have them to be used. Speaking to Laura.
Okay, so I have to get the IONUS email.
Yeah, and I want to make one clarification to what was said earlier. These state provided emails are not for personal business. Okay? They're for they're for business, state business. So careful what you put on there. Nobody's reading your emails. When I give out emails, I give one password and I give that man or woman the opportunity to change their password. The only thing that I request is that password be shared with somebody else so that it is protected in case you lose it, so that we don't have to go through IONUS and possibly have a fee incurred for a lost password or something. Okay. So when you get this email, anybody gets a state funded email, it's for state business. And that's all I'll say. Yes, we'll get you hooked up with IONUS. I'll show you how to use it. It's pretty basic, but we'll get you through it. But and another thing that comes along with the coordinator role that should be known is that all information that you get from your peerage, as in other coordinators on the other 50 states, it needs to be brought back to the assembly and disseminated, for all of our benefit. And right now, I used to share the coordinator recordings. And as sure as I didn't have the time to take and make notes on all that information on that stuff that was put out on that call, and then try and disseminate it to everybody on the assembly to be fair and balanced with the information. I was sharing a recording of the coordinator call with the whole assembly so everybody could self-govern and choose to watch that or not watch that. That way they had opportunity to do that information. And it's just a win-win, in my opinion. If everybody knows what you know, we all win together. Yes, Jen, your hand's up.
I forgot to lower it. Sorry.
Okay. So I guess we need not really an SOP for the coordinator, but maybe Bob, and Laura, that would be my first request, is that we get something established for a coordinator role that other coordinators that come on have something to go by, So a perfect opportunity for y'all. So congratulations, we'll get it going. And I'll be quiet.
Thank you. And we can focus on some of that in our Tuesday meeting.
Yeah. That'll work. So you might be killing 3 birds with 1 stone here. You're ombudsman and everything, right? So
Correct.
So Justin, are you gonna send me or Chris, vetting instructions for Bob, or you just?
Yep. I'll do it just like usual. I'll do a vetting request for Bob Domick to fill the role as Jefferson County Coordinator. Is that good with Laura and Bob?
Sounds great.
Well, Bob's real name is Robert. I don't know if that makes a difference, but that's his Christian legal or lawful name.
Right.
Gotcha.
All right. Anybody else got anything before we make a move? And so right here, just keep in mind that I am still a recording secretary, Belinda. So I'm here to help.
Sorry.
No worries.
I'll add you back on there, I promise.
Oh, that's not a big
I
deal.
got happy with me in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm just saying that so you know you had help if you needed it. Okay.
So just so I'm clear, I'm stepping down from ombudsman, but I still don't mind helping people with litigation if they may need it. Like I know it says the chair is unseated, but I'm going through a lot and I'm learning a lot. Unfortunately, like with that John McClure, I probably could help him. But, you know, when he was like, help me, and I need to not be able to do taxes, you know, other than sending our IRS revocation letter, I've done nothing about that. So, you know, most of mine has been designed at operating in their courts as an American state national. You know, that's basically what I'm learning in litigation, because it's a different contract. It's a different, you know, like two corporations can't contract. That's a big, huge one. And Sean is a plethora of knowledge. And I'm sure he wouldn't mind phone calls if people needed help. But he's here to speak, I believe. And I yield.
Just want to make one more comment. This is a rescue mission. Okay. When you go up to a drowning person, are you just going to swim up to them and grab them? I mean, what we're doing is full of analogy. The way I learned is full of analogies. Okay. So the analogy of the rescue mission, people have got to be willing to rescue themselves. If not, they're stuck in the same old thing. And I'm sorry to be harsh about that, but that's what this is, y'all. It's a rescue mission. We are here populating the Kentucky Assembly, providing what services we can to United States citizens to come on board as status correct. Okay? Joining the Assembly is another step. Okay? And we are not, as an Assembly, we are just simply not to the point to where we can help individuals. And it's what Lisa Schaefer said on that podcast today. As harsh as it may sound, and as callous as it may sound to other people's issues, it's not. If we do not stand up our assemblies and our courts, we can't help the first man or woman, especially if they're not willing to help themselves. Oh. I yield. All right, let's make a move to adjourn. It's been a long night.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, y'all keep honoring your prayers. I don't know if y'all know it, but it was announced today on the podcast that her great-great-granddaughter has been come up missing from Massachusetts, from school. They went on. So her name is Alexis Belcher.
Last night, Anna asked for prayers for Alexis Belcher by name, specifically to Yeshua. And she specifically said, please don't say amen on the coordinator or the web call last night. There we go. And me personally, they have tracking. I mean, if you know anything about biodigital convergence or the Internet of Things, I believe this is somewhat intentional, because, you know, how she was talking about the resistance and retaliation. I personally believe that FBI or CIA could find this child.
They could find all of them if they really wanted to.
Exactly.
If they would mandate green beans and peas instead of shots, we'd all be in a better spot. That's just one aspect of it. Let's go. Let's move. Somebody make a move, please.
I move to adjourn.
All right. The move has been made to adjourn to August 27th at 7 p.m.
Chris O'Marion second.
Chris O'Marion seconds that. Is there any abstains? Any nays? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right. I'm gonna create a link for Tuesday's meeting, and I'm gonna send it out populace wide. And everybody that wants to voice their opinion on the issues, please be there. I welcome it. It needs to get fixed. It needs to get fixed. Now you. Y'all have a good night. I'm going to leave the call open for any sidebar discussions. I'm going to stop the recording.
You too, Justin. See you soon.